call a meeting to order. A moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call vote, Mrs. Frank. Roll call, Mrs. Frank.
Mayor Kindle.
Present.
Councilwoman Costantino.
Present.
Councilman Jenny.
Here.
Councilwoman LaPratte.
Here.
Councilwoman Sawicki.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Williams.
Present.
Councilman Toussaint.
Present.
Acting City Manager Szymanski.
Here.
City Attorney DeWally.
Here.
All right, I need an approval, a motion for approval of the minutes.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I'll offer a motion to accept, receive, and file the minutes of the regular city council meeting held March 3rd, 2025, and to receive and file the beautification commission meeting held November 12th, 2024.
Support.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Public comment on agenda items only. You can step to the podium and speak on the agenda items, only what is on the agenda. None? I need a resolution for consent agenda.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I'll make the motion to approve the consent agenda items 1 through 11.
Support.
Any discussion?
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I have a number of questions, and so I just wanted to ask a few of these items. People have remarked often about safe built, and I noticed that they mention ordinance enforcement. My understanding, and I've had safe built come out to my house on a few occasions when I've had projects going on. And I know that they check that the contractor has met all of the, ordinances, so to speak, for the project and that kind of thing. I would just like to have the city manager clarify what kind of ordinances Safe Built is responsible to, identify, and whether we rely on them to look for problems throughout the community, or whether they are working primarily with construction or that kind of thing.
What is the majority of the work that's happening right now is they're looking at building construction, they're looking at electrical work, they're looking at permitting work, CFO. Yes, they do look at, I want to say, certain ordinance violations, but some of those ordinance violations may not necessarily be in their purview. Some can be taken care of by our police department, some can be taken care of by our DPW. Obviously, police wouldn't be doing electrical inspection and so forth. And it's always broken up three ways, so to speak. And the staff, the building department, the police, and the DPW work with one another trying to resolve the issues as they pop up.
Okay, because I know we had talked about getting a dedicated ordinance, person in that might be more, attuned to this garage is in need of repair, that house, that window, is whatever. So that's one thing I was curious about. A second item that I'm curious about comes up through payment to Anderson, Eckstein, and Westrick. Part of that payment is going toward the pocket park, and I was curious as to when we would see the final design for that pocket park. I know that neighbors in the area and several of the council were involved in looking at original design ideas and following through on that. And so I wondered when we would see the finalized design.
I was gonna say it's gonna be built this year. I don't exactly have a day that it's going to be built, other than as the weather breaks, and the weather is breaking now, it will probably, construction and viewing and everything else will probably happen sometime, I want to say springtime, early summer. I can get you a date.
Well, before you even break ground, I'm talking about just seeing the design, because I know there were several comments that were made the last time we met with residents, and we were led to believe that we were going to have another meeting after that, but we didn't. So I was just curious about,
But I'll check on that.
Okay.
There's been a lot of, I want to say, deadlining this past month, and some of those things were kind of put on the back burner, but I'll check with that, and I'll get back with the council.
okay, the last two items that I have to do with the purchase of the City Hall server, that $26,000 server. I was surprised it wasn't part of new business, and curious as to why there were no bids on that.
Well, it's very specialized, the types of things that we're getting. I want to say that we have hits on our firewall, about 5,000 a day, and 1,000 of them hit my personal firewall, and another 1,000 hit the chief of police, his firewall, and the rest are just their malware coming in. We are redoing all the computers. We're putting security measures on all the computers. We're hearing things amongst ourselves about how people are coming in right now, and ransomware. They're hijacking data, and we have to stay one step ahead. And when servers don't last like they used to, they're expensive. We were expecting to pay about $35,000 for the servers to back up the whole city. This came in at $26,000. And again, we virtually don't take down anything. We keep everything running. So this is, it's like plugging something in place.
I take it that these servers are coming through our current IT
Yes.
company?
Yes.
And that's possibly the reason we didn't
Yes.
get it out?
Yes.
All right. And the last question has to do, oh, it's not a question, it's just a statement about the appointment to boards and commissions. I see that Ms. Sheila Printup is being appointed to the Planning Commission, and I know her name doesn't appear on the consent agenda, and so I wanted to make a point of pointing her out, so to speak. I don't know if she's present here tonight or not, but, okay. Thank you. Thank you.
I had a question, Sue, Madam Mayor.
Yes?
When it comes to this, back to the ordinances, does Safe Build handle like trash cans that are left out on the street, or is that?
Generally not.
No.
Okay, I want to say that that's something that gets divvied up between DPW, mostly DPW.
Okay, so if a customer, if somebody wants to call about people leaving their trash cans out, who would they contact?
Give Heather, DPW a call.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna announce Sheila Printup, she's, our newest member, but she has a cybersecurity background, cybersecurity manager at Ascension, so I think this is gonna be a good person to add. Also, I notice, I mean, we always have legal expenses, but we just have like so many different lawyers we're paying. And, how are we getting this money back from all the money that we're spending on, it's mostly attorneys for the people that we're, I don't know, arresting or having issues with or whatever. But-
Legal fees?
Yeah,
We're not getting sued to death. What actually happens is we come up with strategies. We sit down and have some very calculated strategies to avoid court costs, legal costs. Sharon's done a very good job. All the attorneys that we involve ourselves with have done a very good job on behalf of the community, and it helps us have a better fit for whatever it is we're pursuing with lawyers.
okay, yeah, because I mean, I know we have Perkins for
Yeah.
HR, but then we have Thomas Jacob and the law offices of C.A. Harris, and we have like all these different ones, and I know those are for the defense of
Those are public defenders.
public defenders.
and-
yeah.
yeah.
Those are public appointed attorneys appointed by the court, or what's called MIDC, which is Michigan Indigent Defense
Right.
Attorneys, and theoretically, no attorney is free. Theoretically, the defendant who they defend could be held liable for those fees. And I say theoretically because it's pretty rare that they actually get the fees back, but that's what you're seeing there. You're seeing court-appointed counsel's fees.
So we don't really ever get this money back.
No, we got a
Rarely.
grant, that we charge
Okay.
all those attorneys against. Every year,
Nice.
we reconcile it, and they're paid for by the state of Michigan.
Okay, so then our money is hemorrhaged out through the state of Michigan, then not through the city. Well, that's slightly better,
That's a little
but
bit-
we still have to pay for it sooner or later. Okay,
Is there any further?
I have one question. There's a check here for Oakland County Community College for 2 police training registrations, I'm assuming. Is that something that,
We're in the process of hiring some police officers. Chief, would you want to have a few words?
just shows that we do our homework?
Yes, thank you for keeping us accountable. What was the, it's on the
Oakland
agenda?
County.
It's not on the agenda, it's just a check to Oakland County Community College for 2 police training registrations.
What is the amount?
Very little, $450. Sounds
That
like a
is
registration
probably
amount.
some sort of, we are getting ready to send 2 police officers to the Oakland Police Academy. This is probably for some sort of training, maybe a dispatch training. Yeah, I mean, I could look into it further and let you know tomorrow.
No, just wanted to know, I mean, if we're hiring 2 police officers,
We are.
that's really
It's
good
gonna be
news.
significantly more than 400 though.
Well, yeah, it's probably just the registration, yes, obviously. Just to get their foot
yeah.
in the door at the academy, yeah.
Yeah.
thank you.
Are there any further discussions?
Madam Mayor?
Okay.
Yes,
Roll call
I just
vote.
had a,
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Madam Mayor?
Okay.
Okay. Yes, I just had a question about the purchase of the equipment and maintenance for Equator. It's the police upgrade, the 911. So my question is that when I look at the price, it says year 1 that we might get a credit back of $8,000, and year 2 through 5 is $6,000. Well, roughly. So did they reduce their price?
So with Equiture, we are due for, this is the equipment that records all of our dispatch transmissions, any call that comes into the police department. This is a great tool for our detectives. These are produced in court. City attorney can probably speak to that, but, so we record every conversation that comes into the dispatch council. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. The credit. So we had an existing contract with them that we just paid, I believe, in January or February. So they're gonna recoup some of that money based on the installation date of this new equipment. Sorry, that was a long-winded answer, but
Okay.
yes, we are gonna get a credit. I think it's
Yeah, it says about 8,000 or 8,100.
Yeah,
For the
the
credit.
the credit's just gonna be based on the installation date, and we'll get that money back.
Okay, so the thing that I was wondering though.
Oh, I'm
because-
sorry.
Because the credit is 81,000, so, I didn't know whether that was like a 1-year fee that we already paid, and then they're charging us less now, because year 2 through 5 is 6,000.
Oh, I know why. Probably because there's an initiation fee on the first year as well, and I can't find that side of the contract, but yeah, that's likely why. I think it was a $2,000 initiation fee for the first year.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
I have a follow-up question on that purchase with Equiture. I don't think the police chief can answer this. I think it's more in terms of how this is being processed. I take it we are approving the total amount, but payments will be spread over 5 years? Is that what I can expect? Yes?
Yeah, I would think
Thank
so,
you.
but you know what, I can't say for sure. Sometimes we get surprised here.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's an annual.
Okay.
Annual fee.
That 32,000 is
Yeah.
not upfront.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are there any further discussion? Roll call vote, Mrs. Frank.
Councilwoman Constantino.
Yes.
Councilman Jenny.
Yes.
Councilwoman LaPrat.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sawicki.
Yes.
Councilman Tucson.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Williams.
Yes.
Mayor Kindle.
Yes.
Okay, resolution passes.
Okay, that takes us to old business. We have none. So new business, city managers report.
Okay, item G1, progress payment number 2, City Hall Generator Project number 180-291. Mayor and council attaches a letter from our city engineers transmitting progress payment number 2 on the City Hall Generator Project number 180-291. It is recommended that this payment be approved. Mayor, a resolution is recommended.
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
I'll offer the resolution to approve payment to LJ Rolls Mechanical in the amount of $46,084.55 for progress payment number 2 on the City Hall Generator Project number 180-291.
Support.
Discussion. Roll call vote, Mrs. Frank.
Councilman Jenny.
Yes.
Councilwoman LaPrat.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sawicki.
Yes.
Councilman Tucson.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Williams.
Yes.
Mayor Kindle.
Yes.
Councilwoman Constantino.
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Okay, item G2, progress payment number 2, DW SRF Lead Water Service Replacement Program number 180-331. Mayor and council attaches a letter from our city engineers transmitting progress payment number 2 on the DW SRF Lead Water Service Replacement Program number 180-331. It is recommended that this payment be approved. Mayor, a resolution is recommended.
Madam Mayor, I'll offer
Yes.
the resolution to approve payment to Super Construction in the amount of $11,070 for progress payment number 2 on the DWSRF Lead Water Service Replacement Program number 180-331.
Support.
Discussion. Roll call vote, Mrs. Frank.
Councilwoman LaPrat.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sawicki.
Yes.
Councilman Tucson.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Williams.
Yes.
Mayor Kindle.
Yes.
Councilwoman Constantino.
Yes.
Councilman Jenny.
Yes.
Okay, resolution passes.
Okay, item G3, progress payment number 4, final 2024 sanitary sewer cleaning and CCTV investigation number 180-340. Mayor and council attaches a letter from our city engineers transmitting progress payment number 4, final, on the 2024 sanitary sewer cleaning and CCTV investigation number 180-340. It is recommended that this payment be approved. Mayor, a resolution is recommended.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I'll offer the resolution to approve payment to Duke's Root Control in the amount of $8,400 for progress payment number 4, final, on the 2024 sanitary sewer cleaning and CCTV investigation number 180-340.
Support.
Any discussion? Roll call vote, Mrs. Franks.
Councilwoman Sawicki,
Yes.
Councilman Tucson.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Williams.
Yes.
Mayor Kindle.
Yes.
Councilwoman Costantino.
Yes.
Councilman Jenny.
Yes.
Councilwoman LaPrat.
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Okay. Item G4, Wayne County Maintenance Permit, Harper Woods High School Fieldhouse. Mayor and council, attaches a letter from Wayne County requesting approval of a maintenance agreement permit that conforms to the county's stormwater ordinance. This permit is needed for the city to monitor, maintain, and remediate any causes for concern in the areas of sediment accumulation, vegetation, debris access, and structural repairs as necessary for the new Harper Woods High Fieldhouse. Our city engineers and building department will be performing the inspections in the same manner as we currently do for the Eastland Commerce Center and other developments throughout the city. This permit is required by the Wayne County Department of Public Service. I have reviewed this request with our building officials and our engineers and request that this be approved. Mayor, a resolution is recommended.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I make the resolution to approve the Wayne County Stormwater Maintenance Permit number M25-0021 and Exhibits A and B for underground detention construction with storm sewer install, and further to authorize the acting city manager to sign the permit on behalf of the city.
Support.
Any discussion?
Madam Mayor? This pertains to both item 4 and 5 because they're essentially the same thing. I was curious, there doesn't appear to be any required, sign off by the school or on number 5 by the gas station that would allow, Harper Woods to come in whenever we needed to. And I noticed that as part of the permit, it mentions that Harper Woods shall prepare, execute, and if necessary, record all agreements, contracts, and other documents that may be required to perform its obligations. And I'm just curious about how this operates. If we need to get in there, I presume that we have the right to just go in and check this out, or does, is the approval assumed? Does the county have approval by these entities?
What happens, we're tying into their system, and I want to say the property owner is still going to be responsible for all the maintenance that's required by Wayne County, regarding their drain, their sewage hookup, what have you. However, if they default on their obligations, their inspections, then it's our job to, I want to say, get the ball started. We can go after them and recoup the costs. And again, we do this. We did this with Eastland when they tied into our sewers. I want to say the field house tying into the sewers. And yes, we'll be the ones that actually, I want to say, perform the inspections and things like that. But the property owner is responsible for all the upgrades, all the corrections, everything that's required to get that line in compliance.
I'm looking also at the fact that this is an underground detention system that the school is putting in, which I think is great. It's a wonderful opportunity to get some of that ground, the water moving and that sort of thing. But do we know how big of a detention, is this? It looks like it's fairly large, a couple hundred feet.
I'd have to get that information. I couldn't tell you that off the top
Really
of my head.
quick, it all determines on the size of the area that they're taking in. So they can all vary. So it goes by square footage of parking lot / building itself.
Okay, and, okay, thank you.
No, anything else? I mean, we're doing one right now for the SCOP Center in Grosse Pointe Park too.
Well, with the detention pond that doesn't
It's
retain
not a
water.
pond, it's underground, big plastic tubes that
Right.
hold
Okay.
the, hold the
That's right.
rainwater.
That's what I was
And it'll let
curious
it
about.
into our system slowly if it does come in.
Okay, all right, very good, thank you.
Is there any further discussion?
Sorry.
Roll call vote. Did you? Roll call vote. Mrs.
Council-
Frank?
Councilman Tucson.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Williams.
Yes.
Mayor Kindle.
Yes.
Councilwoman Costantino.
Yes.
Councilman Jenny.
Yes.
Councilwoman LaPrat.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sawicki.
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Okay, item G5, Wayne County Maintenance Permit Gas Station, 17700 Vernier Road. Mayor and council attaches another letter from Wayne County requesting approval of a maintenance permit similar in nature as the previous agenda item. This permit is needed for the city of Harper Woods to monitor, maintain, and remediate any causes for concern in the areas of sediment accumulation, vegetation, debris access, and structural repairs as necessary for the new gas station located at Vernier and Kelly Road. As mentioned in the previous item, our city engineers and building department will be performing the inspection, and this permit is required by the Wayne County Department of Public Service. I have reviewed this request with our building officials and our engineer and request that this be approved. Mayor, a resolution is recommended.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I'll offer the resolution to approve Wayne County Stormwater Maintenance Permit number M25-0026 and Exhibits A and B for commercial, new gas station, and further to authorize the acting city manager to sign the permit on behalf of the city.
Support.
Any discussion?
Yes, Madam Mayor. I just had one quick question. This gas station, is this the one that they redid that's on the corner?
Yeah.
So it's not really new, it's just kind of like redid?
Well,
or just
the building in the back, they added a restaurant.
Yeah.
They have chicken wings, excellent, by the way, and gourmet pizza. It's very, very good.
Yeah.
And yes, that's the gas station.
Okay, because I've been there and I saw it was completely different than what
And
it
they
used to
sell
be.
T-shirts in there too, right,
We
Audrey?
found out. But you know, one thing I didn't find, did I see any seating area? Was there seating?
No, no,
No
no,
seating.
no seating.
It's a little different now. Is there any further discussion? Roll call vote, Ms. Frank?
Mayor Pro Tem Williams.
Yes.
Mayor Kindle.
Yes.
Councilwoman Costantino.
Yes.
Councilman Jenny.
Yes.
Councilwoman LaPrat.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sawicki.
Yes.
Councilman Tucson.
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Okay, item G6, contract extension, pavement, joint, and crack sealing project. Mayor and council, attached is a correspondence from our city engineers regarding our pavement joint sealing program. We have been reviewing an offer from Michigan Joint Sealing, who did last year's project, to honor their existing prices for an extension for 2025. By extending this contract, we save the cost of preparing new bid specifications, advertising, and other startup costs. Further, based on other recent bids, we do not feel that bidding will result in lower prices. This work is spread throughout the city, and contractors usually bid higher because of this, and it would not be cost-effective to rebid it. I have discussed this at length with our engineers and agree with the recommendation. We recommend that the modification be approved. Mayor, a resolution is recommended.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I'll approve I'd like a resolution to approve the contract modification, the amount not to exceed $80,000 with Michigan Joint Sealing for the 2025 miscellaneous concrete pavement repair program, number 180-366.
Support.
Any discussion?
Madam Mayor? Our resolution indicates $80,000, but in the documents, they bid at $68,414. So that's almost $30,000 more than what they bid. And so I'm just curious as to why we would add that much more to the amount that they projected. On page 121.
Yeah, I'm looking at this right here.
So it's not to exceed.
I'm gonna have to find out I mean, that contingency's too high here.
Would it be more appropriate to say 70,000?
You know what? Maybe there is a part of, something that got left out here that we need to see. I will find out about it.
Okay, so do we vote on it or not?
It's a not to exceed.
It says not to exceed. If they're coming in at, proposing at 68, I mean, if there's a patch that may take them a little bit longer to build out or whatever.
That's half as much more, though.
Yeah,
a lot
I'll
more.
find it out.
Not that much.
Yeah,
It's only 11,600.
yeah.
15%.
And 68.
Yeah, usually that's a contingency, but that's kind of high
68 to 80
here.
is only 12,000 more.
All right, thank you. My math is off.
Good
Yeah,
job.
that's really only a
Math
$12,000
today.
difference.
Mhm.
It's not that,
It's like 20%.
Yeah. About 11,500.
Yeah,
So,
And it does say a contract modification.
It's
yeah, there could be add-ons
So
in
it
that, but
sounds-
I'll find out for sure.
Sounds like
Thank
So do
you.
we vote on
Something's
it? or-
different.
Yeah, we don't want to stop any work. We can always modify this down the road.
All right. Roll call vote, Mr. Frank?
Mayor Kendall,
Yes.
Councilwoman Costantino,
yes.
Councilman Jenny,
yes.
Councilwoman LaPrat.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sawicki.
Yes.
Councilman Tucson,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Williams.
yes,
Okay, resolution passes.
Okay, item, let's see here.
I noticed that the next one is incorrect. The resolution also is incorrect. It should be a not to exceed 100,000,
Yes.
and their bid came in at 85.
Okay, we'll modify it as it comes. Okay.
I didn't catch that
Yeah.
mistake.
Item G7, contract extension, sewer cleaning and CCTV investigation program. Mayor and council attaches a correspondence from our city engineers regarding our sewer cleaning and CCTV investigation program. We have been reviewing an offer from Duke's Root Control, who did last year's project, to honor their existing prices for an extension for 2025. As with the previous item, by extending this contract, we save the cost of preparing new bid specifications, advertising, and other startup costs. Further, based on other recent bids, we do not feel that bidding will result in lower prices. This work is spread throughout the city, and contractors usually bid higher because of this, and it would not be cost-effective to rebid it. I have discussed this at length with the engineers and agree with the recommendation. We recommend that the modification be approved. And Mayor, a resolution is recommended with a correction as to the price.
Madam Mayor, I'll offer the resolution to approve the contract modification in an amount not to exceed $100,000 with Duke's Root Control for the 2025 miscellaneous concrete pavement repair program, number 180-365.
Support.
Any
Madam
discussion?
Mayor,
Yes.
the paperwork says 85,325. I'm not sure why the architects are asking for more money, but it says we're just continuing at the same price, 85,325. So, yeah, so why are we proposing 100,000? It
Okay.
doesn't,
Yeah, wait.
I don't see any paperwork or dollar amounts that specify other than what the engineer's asking for. I think,
The same.
yeah, I think 85,325 would be sufficient since we're waiving, the rebid based on the fact that it's the same price. So it's kind of weird that they're asking for 100,000. Seems like they weren't really doing their homework, they were just guessing.
Well, I think that's a lot that's going on now with all of these changes that are being made. Everybody's trying to figure out what their price is gonna be with the cost of future supplies, but if council wishes to go with the 85,000, I don't have a problem with that, and we can discuss this with our engineers.
I would propose a friendly amendment to go with the price, based on the fact that we're not rebidding it, go with the price of $85,325,000, and then if they need to do a change order, then we can always approve that.
Okay.
If there's additional work added on. But we don't want to we don't want to hold the whole thing up. I mean, let's give what we promised, and then anything else we can take into consideration next time.
This is the same thing that just happened.
Right.
in
I
number
know,
6,
but
where you
except
gave us a
backwards,
cushion.
yeah.
You gave us a cushion in number 6, and now in
Is there any
7 you
further
say there's no
discussions
cushion.
regarding?
Well, we're not rebidding this, so I
We
suggest that
didn't
we
rebid
just,
the early one either.
Yeah,
Number
but-
6, we didn't rebid.
You doing it for the 85?
right, but we have documentation here that says 85,325. We have documentation, so it's,
It's the same difference.
I know, but there's no documentation that says that there's additional work being done at this time. If
we
there
need
were
to change
additional
order, we
work
can
comes
get
in,
that.
then yeah.
All right then, so we're voting on for the 85.
Has that been accepted?
Well, I approved the 100, but now we're gonna change it, do we have to
No,
make
we
another
didn't.
move?
We didn't vote.
On the
Well,
resolution?
who made the motion, Vivian?
Vicky,
I guess I'm a little confused, because for number 6, with the contract extension, no rebid, the documentation says 68,414, but we padded it by $12,000 to 80 grand. And on this one, same thing, contract extension, where, you know, the amount that was in the documentation is 85,325, and acting city manager has asked, and our AEW has recommended padding that by 15,000, which seems to me to be the same thing. So are we gonna pad
Well-
this to allow for any kind of, you know,
The-
extra stuff, or are we gonna maintain it at the amount that was bid?
The wording is different. Excuse me, Madam Mayor. The first one is a contract modification. Oh, you're right, the second one,
It's the same.
yeah, but it
It's an
still says in our recommended action, 85,325.
That's,
But this one is followed up by paperwork
The
that
other one is
says
as well.
85,325.
they both are.
So
All
there's
right.
a resolution on the table, it can be voted on, or
Okay.
it can not be voted on. Do you want to
Okay.
keep, do you
I'll
want
go
to
with
keep your
what-
original?
okay.
Councilmember Sawicki?
May I ask one other question before we choose to do something on this? And that is, I can understand the need to have a little bit of a cushion in these different contracts. How realistic is to say that we need to have that much of a cushion in these contracts?
Right.
Or if we don't spend it, we don't spend it either.
And if they don't spend it, we don't spend it either. That is true.
Yeah.
My original resolution is going to stand.
Okay.
Let's make certain that in both cases, we have a little bit of a cushion, and
And the invoices should carry it out.
the invoice will certainly, and hopefully it'll come in under.
All right? So, we're voting on Councilwoman Sawicki's original
Yes,
resolution.
yes.
Okay?
Okay, Councilwoman Costantino,
Yes.
Councilman Jenny,
Yes.
Councilwoman LaPrat.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sawicki,
Yes.
Councilman Tucson.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Williams.
Yes.
Mayor Kindle.
Yes.
Okay, resolution passes.
Okay, item G8, Milk River Principal and Interest. Mayor and council, attached is an invoice from Wayne County for the Milk River Drain Principal and Interest payments on the SRF bond programs number 5446-01 and number 5445-02. It is recommended that these payments be approved since they are equal to or less than the amount, excuse me, on the calculated debt schedule. Mayor, a resolution is recommended.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I'll make the resolution to approve payment in the amount of $1,058,530.12 to Wayne County for the Milk River Drain principal and interest payments, $905,951.69 principal and interest on the SRF bond number 5446-01 and $151,780.43 principal and interest on the SRF bond number 5446-02.
Support.
All right, any discussion?
Yeah, I have
Yes.
this, Madam Mayor. I do too. Go ahead first, Councilwoman Wade.
My only question was, I see the numbers are just slightly different, so I figured that was probably a typo. Because if you look at the top where you made the remarks, it was 5446-01. But at the bottom, at the recommended actions, 5446-02.
No, there's two separate
There's
bonds.
two.
Yeah, there's two bonds, two interest payments, two principal payments.
Yeah, the other ones is 5445-02.
Oh,
So there
I
are
see.
slightly
There's
different
six
numbers.
and four.
5446.
Okay, yeah, at 5446-001 and 5445, yeah.
Is it five or
Typo,
six?
typo.
And Madam Mayor? Just to be clear, those two, principal and interest, bond, and, those two bonds are what's making up the $1,058,532, right? It's not in addition to.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, it's,
Madam Mayor, okay, Madam Mayor, I'm also,
Yeah.
I'm really kind of confused with this. I've kind of been tracking, I've tried to track this a little bit, and I was looking at the payment we had for 1/1 to 3/31 in 2024 was $356,170.75. And then we went to, from 4/1 to 6/30, it was $356,130.75. And then from 7/1 to 9/30, it was $356,018. And then there was nothing from 10/1 to 12/30 in 2024. And then in 1/1 to 3/30, it was the same amount as it was at 7/1 to 9/30 of $356,018, the exact same amount, which, you know, none of my water bills are exactly the same, which I'm confused with. And then we get down here to all these three, I'm not sure with these bonds, a little confused on that. It doesn't give any dates on it. I assume it's 2025, and we're up to $1 million in payments, and they just doesn't seem consistent to me. And I sent you a spreadsheet on it, John, and I really need some better.
okay, this is kind of confusing. I will make it as simple as I can make it. There are costs for what they call operation and maintenance cost. They're quarterly costs that we pay to Wayne County for the Milk River services that are provided. Those are the quarterly payments. They usually are around $340,000, $350,000. Okay? You mentioned that there was a gap payment. We noticed that as well. That for whatever reason, Wayne County didn't send us a bill until late. We don't pay $350,000 without an invoice. They furnished that invoice. And I want to say that the payments for principal and interest are separate and distinct from the operation and maintenance. The operation and maintenance is about $1.4, $1.5 million a year. The bond payments, which you're asking to approve payment on. Therefore, principal and interest on two bonds, the original Milk River bond and the completion bond. And I want to say what makes this payment so high is because of the fact that principal is due, and these are big principal payments that we're going to be hit with for the next few years before they start going down, okay, in amount. So that's what we're paying on tonight. We're paying the drainage district bond, principal, and interest on two bonds, which is different from operation and maintenance. They're two different separate animals there.
So is this sort of an annual fee?
This is this is an annual
This
fee.
is a past debt where those other payments are current maintenance expenditures. This is like years ago when they built things, they borrowed a bunch of money to build it, and now we're still having to pay off their debts.
Because the building was sinking. That's why we're paying the completion bonds, is the building was sinking. They had to level it out, do lots and lots of construction, work to the building, to the pumps, everything associated with this drain to keep it operational. And as you can see, it's not cheap.
Okay, so this is sort of like a balloon payment we have to pay every year?
Yes, we have to
Okay.
pay the interest payments,
And
and
it's
we
on
have
an
to pay
annual
the print.
basis?
Yes.
It's on an annual basis,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I was really confused on it. I had to,
Oh, no, it's a big amount. Yes, it's very
you
big.
jumped from
Yeah.
356,000 up to 2 million, you know?
It's
Madam Mayor,
terrible.
there's an $800 discrepancy between the $1,058,532.12 and the two amounts that were given for principal and interest, which comes to about $800 less, $1,057,732. I'm just curious as to whether that's just calculation error or,
Yeah, what we owe is $1,058,532.12. It's broken up into a principal payment of $732,960, an interest payment of $164,629.69, another principal payment of $128,220, interest due of $23,560.43, and an interest adjustment of $9,162. And I want to say that the state of Michigan and Wayne County, they go and they refinance debt whenever they can. And it's, sometimes they notify us of that, and sometimes we don't. When we have to get information for our audit, just like this year, we had to contact the state of Michigan to get the latest debt schedule. And again, this is, I don't want to say anything bad about working from home, but working from home is,
Computers don't talk to each other.
yeah.
No, they don't.
People send old information, and you work with old information, but I can assure you that the payment is $1,000,000.058 on here.
and so the amount that we see on our page 127, which is what the county has generated, even though it's different than the two amounts that we see in our resolution, the 1,058,000 is
That's accurate, very
All right.
accurate, yes.
Okay.
Madam Mayor,
Yes,
this has been, this, you know as well as everybody here, the Milk River's just been such a burden on this community.
a burden
Is-
that we have to have,
I know, it's not like we have a choice.
right.
So, I'm wondering though now, if there's gonna be any light at the end of the tunnel eventually with these new retention basins and everything. I know we've asked this in the past, but are we getting any closer to the light at the end of the tunnel.
As Eastland Commerce Center fills up, then we can have true numbers. You know, right now, I want to say 2 out of the 3 buildings are leased, and they're filling up, and they're getting their tenants up and running. The 3rd building, they're still, they're still marketing that.
Yep, 80%.
Yeah. So once we get everything up to full capacity, then we'll know how things truly operate, and we can have it all tested out and go back and ask for rate changes.
Oh, okay. Madam Mayor?
Yes.
Well, to me, it seems like if we already have some retention ponds out there now, and nobody's doing anything, it seems like that's already should show some sort of reduction before they actually start, pumping out more water and, whatever. And that's why I'm a little confused why we don't already see some reductions considering they're already out there and in place.
Well, like I said, we'll have the study when it's just that everything is not, built up. We have a line that's in front of, I want to say, Vernier, that it's virtually collapsed. That's going to have to get fixed. We're going to have to really wait until we get all of the piping, the stormwater, the sanitation, and we know what kind of tenants that are going to locate there. So, I mean, it's 2/3 done, and, we waited this long. When the 3rd building, gets full, that's the time to have the testing, because then you're going to have reliable data.
Okay, it doesn't make any sense to me still, but okay.
We still have things.
Any further discussion?
Fixing them.
Roll call vote, Ms. Frank.
Sewers and all.
Councilman Jenny.
Yes.
Councilwoman LaPrat.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sawicki.
Yes.
Councilman Toussaint.
Yeah.
Mayor Pro Tem Williams.
Yes.
Mayor Kindle.
Yes.
Councilwoman Costantino.
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Okay, item G9, amendment to the guide to public participation at council meetings. Mayor and council, the attached guide to public participation at council meetings has been revised and was previously provided to you under separate cover. The revision is due to a challenge recently made stating that our current guide is unconstitutional and that it violates free speech. This amendment will maintain compliance with the First Amendment and will not require that speakers during public comment have to abide by any mandates set forth by the City Council. It remains exactly that, free speech. I have reviewed this and recommend that this amended guide be adopted. Mayor, a motion is recommended.
Madam Mayor? I'll make the motion to adopt the amended guide to public participation at council meetings.
Support.
Discussion.
Yes. Madam Mayor?
Yes.
I have looked, I've read through it, and it's kind of vague, but, well, it's not vague, but I guess you can't conclude everything, but I don't see anything, and for an example, I'm concerned about discrimination in that, I don't want anybody calling me an N-word or anything because they got free speech. And I know with the new administration, people feel they have a little more liberties in there. So I know you said that's kind of covered under something, but I think there needs to be like in parentheses, some examples, like i.e., you can't, not the N-word, not, any other things that describes an ethnic group in a very derogatory way. And I know there are discrimination laws out there, but this doesn't even implicate that, discrimination procedures are even concerned on it. So I'm having a hard time supporting that without having some sort of specific examples that protects against some discrimination.
Mayor?
Yes.
I will ask the city attorney to make a comment, but I have a comment before she makes her comment, and this is regarding Councilmember Toussaint. If somebody is out in the audience and they blatantly use, like I said before, the N word, the B word, the F word, the C word, whatever kind of word, they're going to be asked to leave, escorted to leave. So in regards to your concern, I hope that answers the question. City Attorney, you have any other remarks here?
I do, in fact, I do.
Okay.
The only thing we can regulate under the First Amendment is time, place, and manner when we have an open meetings and under the First Amendment. As a matter of fact, I hate to call this to the forefront here, but I know a city that is being sued because they have, in fact, a policy that prohibits racial, ethnic, religious, or sexual slurs. Now, we cannot regulate civility. That has been said throughout the centuries. We can't do it. We can only regulate time, place, and manner. We can hope that people act appropriately, but the courts have been very strict on this in terms of what can be said. Hate speech, which is what I consider racial slurs or ethnic slurs or sexual slurs, I consider that hate speech, and the courts have upheld it. What they have not upheld is if that hate speech promotes lawlessness that is imminent, such as everybody should get up because of some racial slur and, punch out. That's imminent harm that they cannot have. But a racial slur, unfortunately, a negative comment based on gender or ethnicity, I am sorry to say, is protected by the First Amendment. The courts have been very strong about this.
I don't get that.
You all right?
Well, all I can tell you
Go
is,
ahead.
look at your judges. I always say one of the more important folks we vote for are your judges, because they do make the law. We pass the law, but the courts decide if it's going to be legal or not. So it's very, very important. Now, that's not to say if somebody impugns your reputation or perhaps calls you something, that there might not be a civil action. We still have laws in this state about those types of things. That might be a civil action. But in terms of free speech, time, place, and manner, which we have, and it has to be content neutral. Just because somebody's making a comment about something you don't like, you have to listen to it as opposed to just all the good stuff. Content neutral. So, and the only time people should be asked to leave the meeting is if there's truly a breach of the peace, which hopefully has been set out here in the guide, which is defined by the law. I didn't make that up. That's the law. Those are jury instructions. That's what's defined. If I went to court, that's how I'd have to prove it.
So you and John aren't saying the same thing, though?
No, she's giving you a little more leeway. I'm throwing you out. Okay.
But that would be illegal.
That's not my
I know.
decision. That's not my decision. I'm just giving you my opinion.
Madam Mayor,
Yes?
can I read that, what it says on here, what the breach is? So it says, breach or disturbing the peace may include the following: conduct that threatens public safety, threatens violence to other persons, disrupts the peace and quiet of other persons present, interferes with the ability of other persons to perform lawful actions or their legal duties. And it's referenced to People versus MASH. So
It is what it is.
It is what it
Like I
is.
said, The jury instructions. I did not make that up. That's where it came from.
Okay. Is there any further discussion regarding this?
Yes, Madam Mayor?
Yes.
This is just the English teacher in me for number 5 and 6. Number 6 is pretty clear. Speaker is permitted to speak one time for up to 3 minutes. Number 5 should imitate that same language, in my opinion. During public comment on agenda items, each speaker is permitted to speak one time for up to 2 minutes. on any item listed in the agenda.
Right.
Okay. The way it's written is slightly different. I think it's a little clearer to have the clause up near the, anyway. And the other thing is that they're not speaking on one item on the agenda. They can speak on anything on the agenda. And so, that's why I would phrase it on any agenda, or on agenda items.
Right, it's on the agenda
Right.
item.
It's
So
just,
public
like I
comments
said,
on
it's
the
the
agenda
English,
items.
the English speaker in me wants that balance.
Is that a friendly amendment?
It's not an amendment, it's just a correction to the language, the way it's written out.
Duly noted.
Anything?
All right,
Madam Mayor?
I didn't type it.
That's what-
Yes.
Madam Mayor? Yeah, I think what Councilwoman Sawicki is indicating is that it doesn't say consent agenda, it just says any agenda items. That call the audience.
Yeah, it's
That
an
part.
any agenda item.
Right.
it's the
not a
same thing,
consent
it's public
agenda.
comment on agenda items. That's what's on our,
On agenda items.
on our agenda as it stands right now.
Okay,
So
and then,
it's no different.
and then one more comment on what Mr. Toussaint said. When, trying not to say Jerry. So, well, Councilwoman read the breach or disturbing the peace. That last sentence, I think, is very, very relevant, or interferes with the ability of other persons to perform lawful actions, such as we are city council, and we need to make decisions. So if something is said that totally disrupts, to me, that falls on the breach of disturbing the peace, because it interferes with the ability of the other person to perform lawful actions or their legal duties. And so as the elected official, we are making decisions, but if certain things are said, it definitely will interfere with our ability to perform our duties. So I was just going to clarify that.
Okay. Question, Sharon? Sure. Is there such a thing still available, or such as verbal assault? Is that still something?
But that's a threat. A verbal assault is an imminent possibility of harm, meaning, I'm going to hit you, and they have the ability to do that, but they don't do it. Legally, there's a difference between assault and a battery. Assault is the words, battery is the actual physical activity, legally speaking.
But when I'm asking the question verbal, I know at one time people can verbally assault you. Is that still a possibility that someone could verbally assault you and not necessarily put their hands on you?
No, that is correct. An assault is the threat of a physical activity.
Okay,
That's an assault.
thank you. All right, is there any further discussions? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I oppose.
Do I hear any opposed?
Yes.
I'm going to oppose too.
All right, motion carries.
And that concludes the city manager's reports.
All righty then. So, that takes us to call the audience. You have 3 minutes. State your name and use the civility that you were raised with.
Good afternoon. My name is Nina Hodge. I have a business over in the city, east side of Detroit, and then I live over here on Helen Avenue. It was brought to our attention going to a meeting in the city of Detroit. They have a CDBG-DR. It's a Community Development Block Grant for the disaster recovery. And I was just wondering how come we did not receive that type of grant over here. The city of Detroit got $300-something million for the disaster of people's homes that got flooded and destroyed. And I know our homes where I live at got destroyed. So can y'all share with me how come we didn't receive any funding for that block grant?
Wayne County does not send us CDBG funds anymore. They take care of it all by themselves. In the past, they used to send us grants. We would receive grants typically 100,000, maybe 125,000, not anywhere near, okay, what City Detroit has been receiving. But as of the last few years, the County of Wayne has been taking CDBG money and doing CDBG projects, you know, with the money. We have just put up some sidewalks. We're in the process of doing that right now with CDBG money.
So the thing was, too, they asked, what can they do with the money that night, this particular night? What can they do? And I just did not know of any flooding over in that area for them to come up with it.
Yeah,
I
that's-
know that we have flooding over here, and we can use that funding for that over here.
Yeah, we didn't, again, you know, the county never sent any money in regards to that, so
Okay. All right, thank you.
you're welcome.
Good evening, Greg Bargle, Woodland. I'm going to pick up the ball where it was left off the last council meeting it was voted on to search for a new city manager, to start the search, and I prepared an informational document here which describes the need to hire a city manager and the recruitment process. And I have copies I can give to the council, which is actually in depth in terms of what to look for city manager, not just the search.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I'm going to read a couple items from this. In the first thing that I wrote was an opinion or comment, and I'm going to keep it under this 3 minutes. So we need to ask a simple question: is how did the city of Harper Woods find itself in the need of an interim acting city manager? Well, the answer was obvious. Our previous city manager was terminated in the summer of 2021. Okay, regardless of the reason for this change in leadership, the requirement of an interim acting manager is to prepare the city for the unexpected changes that will happen because of a non-permanent city manager. It became apparent that the city council in office at the time was not similarly prepared and placed the transition from full-time city manager to interim acting city manager on autopilot and didn't want to dwell on the departure of the prior city manager. What has ensued since the termination of our previously full-time city manager, which was transitioned to our present-day interim city manager position, has placed our city of Harper Woods in its ability to move forward in a complete state of flux, with growth potential becoming essentially static. It can easily be observed there's been ongoing conflicts in the thought process between those of someone trained with city manager skill sets, which tend to prioritize broader community needs that could require more spending, versus that of a financial manager, of which exhibit tendencies to say focus on strict budget adherence and fiscal responsibilities. Both of these are complementary trains of thoughts to their professions. In closing with my comment, I believe the present city council should take heed to our city's need to fill the position of full-time city manager and begin the recruitment process in earnest. Now, one of the other items on this document is a definition of an acting city manager. Definition means a person appointed for a term from time to time by the city manager or by the city council, which they did when the city manager position is vacated. Okay, bottom line is the average by the International City County Management Association, the average tenure of an acting city manager, often referred to as interim, is typically 3 to 6 months. This has been going on for 4 years. It's time. So I heard my time was up, so this document is really meant that the nuts and bolts are further on the document, which starts with how to successfully recruit a city manager. It's meant for all the city council to read and maybe a good guide on what you're looking for the future full-time city manager. Thank you.
He just told you.
Hi, good evening. Yes, hi. Yes, I have a concern. This is regarding the sidewalks. Okay, and something I came across today in a payment. So in regards to the sidewalk, this is on Woodmont, other streets too, but mainly on Woodmont. Dangerous. Because, take your sidewalk here, it actually, there's like a gap up there, and you trip over it. This has been going on for a long time. And I have fallen many times on there. Because, the one reason is because the side, I have to walk like this all the time. Why? To make sure I don't trip. Another one, I'm walking, and I gotta keep going like this to make sure there's no dogs coming around. So I'm walking like this, and I'm like, and I'm tripping. I gotta watch this so I don't fall all over there. So that's a concern. Now, another thing that I ran into this today. This is dangerous, and this is for all people at Harper Woods. On Beaconsfield, when I think it's Woodland, when you're right on Beaconsfield, and you're at the crosswalk, just to go to the other side of the street, there's, whoever put the cement there did not level it. So it comes up like this. That is dangerous. If I wasn't walking down like this, I would have fell. And this is my way of walking, just so I don't fall over things. So that's my concern there. So just, it's dangerous. So it needs to be smoothed out. Okay, thank you.
How you doing? On this pocket park, when the gentleman kept speaking all that time, it was told to us that everything was funded. We didn't have to pay anything. Now we're 250,000 grant and we owe 100,000. I go, I don't like that. Now the second thing is I'm finding out, last city council meeting said that you're gonna get a new police dog, but according to what I found out talking to her, that the GPSSS funded Kaiser. And now you want to get back into it, but now she told me she has to tell her board and they have to vote to let Harper Woods be back with the GPS. Because when you call the police and say, I've got a loose pet in my backyard, what the heck do you want me to do about it? We don't do any of that anymore. That shouldn't be happening. Let them come and get it, bring it here, and then give it to the Humane Society. Now, the second thing, the next thing I'm going to bring up is something I found out, and I cannot believe this happened, because I don't think anybody in this whole room in Wisconsin, and I hope you do not ever pass this law. It's a state law, and you can get fined up to $500 for it. You can no longer call your mom, mother, or ma. You now have to call them an inseminated woman, and that's the law in Wisconsin. So I don't ever want to see this happen in this state. Oh, and last time you said you were going to Washington to get $1 million more for our thing, and you don't have to do that. You can go right to Governor Whitmer, because believe it or not, you don't know, she's under investigation, because good old dementia head and her cronies gave her $4 billion when COVID started to give to the people of the state of Michigan. Now, she's doing all these roads, right? She hasn't put any tax on anything. She's using the coffers of that $4 billion. So just go there and ask her for $1 million. That'll be right out of pocket. That's what I'm saying. I mean, you don't have to fly to Washington. That's only a day's drive out there. Because see, what she's doing now, this good old Democrat and Governor Whitmer, she's going to China to give the state of Michigan away to the Chinese. And we're already getting our car companies here. She's trying to give other things away to the Chinese. It's like, what's going on? Under investigation. Now about these new rules you put into. Not only did you state a law, but you forgot the one most important law that happened to the best man I've ever known in my life, Martin Luther King. And I brought it up here in the city council meeting, that you cannot put any kind of rules like that in effect. You have to listen to anybody, what anybody says, as long as they don't say, excuse me, I'm not trying to say anything to anybody. You cannot do tell them bodily harm, tell them you're gonna K with the double L's or anything like that. As far as disturbing the peace, none of that counts. You can't do that. It's against that law that was passed when Martin Luther King was alive.
Alrighty then. Mr. Kadat. By the time you get here, both of y'all will be here.
He doesn't have to get up. No.
I don't know.
You can only speak.
Oh,
Long
God.
time.
Okay. I got a lot.
Yeah.
Mike Cadet, Lockmore Street. With the weather getting warmer, I brought this up before, the problem with these big parties and noise. So right now, there's a residence on my block that is sitting outside in the evenings and has a loud radio playing all the time. And so, you know, they might enjoy it, but they also are disturbing their neighbors. There's another family that he parks his truck in the driveway and sits there with the windows down and the radio blaring at full blast. And so these are very detrimental to the livability of the city. And then we have the upcoming warm weather with these wild parties where we have loud recorded and live DJ presented music that goes on for hours and hours into the wee hours of the night, sometime till 1 a.m. So we need some kind of ordinance to get control of these noise activities. And this is not to mention the cars that come down the street with their radio blaring and heavy bass music playing. So if we want the city of Harper Woods to be a pleasant community, we need to get control over this stuff. And kind of adding a little insult to the injury is these wild parties are often in rental properties, of which I don't know if they're short-term rentals or they're yearly leases, but the people that are renting the properties really don't have any lasting concern for the community, and so they do what they want to do. Okay, so I think with the weather, especially with the weather getting warmer, we need to get some kind of ordinance. Detroit has passed a pretty comprehensive one, so I would suggest we model one of our own on theirs. And so I think I looked at the Detroit ordinance, and it's, I think, fairly substantial. And then, of course, we have if we pass this ordinance, we would have the problem of enforcing it. And but I think some of these violations, if we did have this ordinance, would be so obvious and so profound that there wouldn't be any problem in writing a ticket. And so, and the city attorney, I've disagreed with her on this. Detroit police have the authority given by the mayor to write tickets for noise violations. And so I don't know if we can do the same thing here or not. There seems to be controversy on this. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cadet.
Good evening, Tony Wagner, Washtenaw. I enjoyed the discussion about the First Amendment rights and proper conduct at the council meetings and so on. It was a good discussion. I just wanted to make an observation, and actually the environment this evening's been reasonably polite, reasonably civil. Other times called an audience gets a little bit carried away, and I'm kind of offended by it. But just to throw out a reminder to anybody here, my understanding is every couple of years, city council spots come up for election. And I would suggest anyone who is extremely critical of what's going on in the council, you know, put your money where your mouth is, pick up a nominating petition, get your petition signed, get yourself elected into office if you're that convinced you can do better than the men and women sitting up here. Okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tony.
All right, is there anyone else in the audience wish to speak? All right, we'll start with you, Councilwoman Constantino.
I don't actually have a report, but if you could convince Governor Whitmer to give Harper Woods the Goshen money, I think we need it more than they do. That would be amazing.
That's a road we've already been down, and we're working with the state of Michigan, contrary to, I'm working with everyone, okay? Federal
That's great.
government, state government, Wayne County. We're working with everyone to get the monies that we need, because we deserve a recreational center and not just a shoebox. We need a real recreational center. Okay?
First of all, I want to wish you all a happy St. Patrick's Day to you all. I hope you had a good time at the parade and all that yesterday. Last Friday, too, there was also the retirement party for Kaiser Farrell. He's a really wonderful dog, just as pleasant and just as... so he's going to a good family, the owners, and the kids are all excited by having him full-time now, which is wonderful. And Mr. Goodine, I really feel sorry for you. You sound like you're just in a miserable situation, and I hope we can do something about that soon, and to kind of help you out there.
For the whole community, really.
Yes. I thought he had problems in my neighborhood, but yours seem to be a little bit worse. Now, also, last time I made a motion to get a posting out for a city manager, and I haven't seen it yet. And in my motion, I did not give it a deadline, and I'm hoping that we can get something out, and my administration is listening to me, that we can get something posted maybe within the next soon, or can give us an idea in by next meeting, or if one is out.
It's on the website.
Okay, it's on the website. Okay, great.
So all you guys need to go apply.
I don't have really much of anything to say, so I'll turn it back.
Nothing at this time.
All I have is that the Earth Day cleanup is on April 26th from 10 to 12. It'd be really great to see everybody here out helping with the cleanup. And there's still some spots on the Beautification Commission, and I believe maybe the Library Board. There's a couple of, go on the website and look at boards and commissions. I think it'd be nice, some of the people that are always complaining, to maybe get on one of these boards and help us out. It would be greatly appreciated.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Okay, I have just three things. One about the sidewalks. I know that we did a CDBG grant, and we had a certain area of the city that we were doing sidewalks for, and that there was discussion about the rest of them when that time would come. So I was wondering, were we any closer to getting the?
Yeah, it's all gonna happen this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Other one is ordinance and parking permits. Within the city, we do have an ordinance about parking on the streets, certain streets, and you can't park at certain times. And I know there are parking permits that residents could get. So we have new residents entering our city, and some, that just wasn't sure, and I was asked this question. So could you just clarify a little bit what a resident could do if they have like 5 or 6 cars and it just won't fit all in their driveway?
Chief, you wanna give a few words on that? It seems to be a touchy subject.
I'm sorry, Councilwoman, you were referring to on-street parking between
Yes,
2:30 and
on-street
5?
parking.
Yeah, residents can come up. I believe the passes they're issued through the police department. I think they're either $25 or $30 a year.
45,
I think. But yeah, any resident can come up and apply for a parking pass, and we issue them on a case-by-case basis. Home, garage, driveway, things of that nature.
Okay. So they don't have to have a certain limit to say that, you got 4 or 5 cars that you can't get.
There is a limit. Yes, there is a limit. And like I said, it's on a case-by-case basis, yeah. Just based on the surrounding area. Hope that answered your question.
That's for overnight parking, but also a question has come up about parking on Beaconsfield. There is absolutely no parking on Beaconsfield, period. And for the last month or so, I've seen cars parking on Beaconsfield, but you guys are ticketing those people that are parking there. Because since the repavement of Beaconsfield, it became no parking at all. It used to be parking on one side, but it's no longer available. You do not park there, so you cannot get a permit to park on Beaconsfield.
Correct, and we issued 4 tickets over the weekend, so.
Right. Okay.
Okay, and I had one more comment. No, you're
Okay.
fine. Thank you. Okay, my last comment is the Michigan Municipal League, which all of us on City Council belong to, is a Michigan league where all the mayors in the state, the City Council in the state, belong to this organization. And several of us will be going to CapCon, Capital Convention, where we're going to be able to talk to our legislators face to face and take concerns, questions, directly to our legislators. We won't be sitting in the audience talking to them. We're going to be face to face talking with our legislators. So I'm looking forward to this conference. I'm looking forward to finding out what's going on in Lansing. And then when we come back, we're going to share, I'm sure most of us, we always share what we learned and what we heard with you. So I'm looking forward to this conference and taking any concerns, to our legislators. Thank you.
Okay. Well, as you all know, I went to Washington D.C. last week, and it's a different animal there, but I was able to make contact with quite a few people and just waiting on information to come back. I will, however, be giving a written report to you guys. I just been very busy this week, and so I will be back with a report for you guys, totally. Also, I want to look into the short-term rentals where I wish that we could somehow ban parties where I know that people rent out those short-term homes and rentals, and they give parties, and you end up with 300 to 100 of people there, which begs that it makes our community totally unsafe, especially when we have gun violence and fighting and whatever. So I hopefully that we can look into it and figure out how we can prevent us from having these kind of problems, because as Mr. Kadat said, the summer is coming, it's getting warmer, and more people are trying to party and party outside. I don't want to be next door to someone partying all night long. I didn't move here for that kind of nonsense, but it's a whole different flavor now. We are in, I guess as an older person, I have to, check myself, but civility should never die, and you should always be, as we were taught, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. That means being a good neighbor, as well as being, do unto other folks as you would like them to do unto you. Somehow that seems to have been lost somewhere around here. And it's not just here. Believe me, I was at the national conference in Washington State, Oregon. Oh my God, they got a mess out there. Everybody seems to have gone crazy since the pandemic. I don't know what it is, but we just haven't seemed to pull our senses back together. So I'm just prayerful that we will be able to hold ourselves together as a community, because the forces out is crazy. It's really crazy. It's really scary. And that's why I'm prayerful every day for my community, for everyone, and just hopefully, you know, that we survive this craziness that's going on in the United States right now. It's very scary. Washington D.C. was off the chain, and it was off the chain because I was dealing with people that had no idea what their department was about. How in the world can you be in charge of a department and not know what you're supposed to, what you stand for? But that's part of something that we have to deal with, and we have to deal with these people because they are the ones in charge. And if you want something done, you have to dance to their tune. So I'm dancing because I want a recreational center. We deserve a recreational center here in the city of Harper Woods. So I will be dancing to the tunes to a lot of people. I will not compromise my pride, but I will dance to the tune till I get my recreational center. Another thing I was wanting to talk about was, you guys all be here, you all on social media. How about us having a real force out here for the cleanup? We never get the kind of participation that we should get to clean up help clean up our city. We're not responsible for the total cleanup, but when you see something, do something. It's disheartening for us to get up for cleanup on beautification and maybe 15 people show up. But when we have an incident or something, everybody's all on Facebook. I shouldn't say fussing about it. And let's have a result. Let's all do something and find a solution and not be a part of the problem. That's one thing that, you know, I think we should all carry with us. We all moved here for a reason. We liked it. So let's try to keep it up. And our city is not able to do all and have all the employees that we used to have. So therefore we have to rely on our citizens, our residents, to help us keep the city as we would love it to be. Let's see, there's one more thing. I think I'm a part of the Lions Club. We will be having Palm Sunday's pancake breakfast right across the street at the AMVETS. $20, all the pancakes and sausages, milk and juice and coffee that you can eat. Please come out. That is April 13th, Palm Sunday from 10 to 1. Please come across to the AMVETS and support the Lions Club. They do very much, a whole lot for our communities. So with that, Mr. James.
Madam Mayor, I make the motion to go to a closed session for purpose of discussing informational relative to civil action subject to attorney-client privilege.
Support.
Meeting adjourned.